I've known I was a wolf since a really young age. Well, I had a big following because I usually go to the conventions and I meet a lot of people. And I had got accused of killing and beheading a dog. I did behead him. I didn't kill him. He was my friend. His name was Shadow.
Well, you see, she didn't kill him. She just cut his head off, which is, I think, what most of us think of when we picture a wolf in our mind, capable of using sharp instruments in anger and beheading other animals which are challenging their dominance. Well, that or the nonstop raping that wolves are well known for. It's very, very problematic. I don't know if Tumblr can handle having wolves on their website. These violent rapists are a danger to everyone, especially dogs, apparently in this case. Welcome one and all to the 6th installment of Tumblrisms. We're going to be taking a look at Otherkin as we journey through the land of insanity, otherwise known as Tumblr. There's no real way to get around this, but buckle up, because this is going to be one hell of a fucking episode. The sheer amount of insanity in this one particular group is off the fucking charts. And I've looked at some crazy shit before, but Otherkin really takes the cake when it comes to batshit raving lunacy. So I think it's going to be fun. But, you know, we need to pin down what that definition is, because we're shitlords. You need to remember that. We are privileged shitlords, and we need to understand how these snowflakes think. We've got to get their terminology down. Because when you go into Tumblr and when you're looking at Otherkin, you're going to start to see all sorts of weird shit. And I think one of the first things, even before we go and look up the definition of Otherkin, we probably need to make a distinction between what is a furry and what is an Otherkin. Well, it just so happens that I've used my immense artistic skills, which I'm well known for, to put together this nice little infograph that I think will help to highlight the major difference between what a furry is and what an Otherkin is. A furry is a human pretending to be a wolf. An Otherkin is a wolf pretending to be a human. Let me see if I can clarify it a little bit more. A furry smells like death because they've been in that suit for 5 days at a convention, and the internal temperature in that motherfucker is equal to the same temperature your oven would be at if you wanted to cook a pizza. An Otherkin drags their ass on the ground rather than using toilet paper. A furry will drink far too much alcohol and then nearly die of dehydration when they yiff themselves into a coma in the hotel room later that night. An Otherkin will piss on their mother's azalea bushes so the other dogs in the neighborhood know who the fucking alpha male is. A furry will terrify children in a costume they've made that looks like something that's been birthed from a nightmare into the real world. An Otherkin will growl at ground beef in the market because they think that's what hunting is. So now that we know that critical difference between a furry and an Otherkin, let's pop on by valhallanbadger.tumblr.com to get a better idea of just what this Otherkin community is really all about. So, just who is Valhallan Badger? Well, this is their About Me section. Hello, you can call me Elliot. I identify as androgynine, and my pronouns are ze, zir, zers, and zerself. I'm pansexual and panromantic. I'm a 20-year-old college student majoring in geology. I love to draw and sculpt. I'm a spiritual polytherian, and my stereotypes are as follows. American Badger. Not one of those commie Russian motherfuckers. It's an American Badger. I tend to feel this one most strongly, thus my URL. I also identify as a hurrah bat, and as a black-tailed jackrabbit. In addition, I identify as being cat-hearted, deer-hearted, and fiction-hearted, with Tsuruku Tasaki from the book Colorless Tsuruku Hizaki and His Years of Pilgrimage. I'm neurodivergent. I have major depressive disorder, MDD, general anxiety disorder, GAD, agoraphobia, and avoidant personality disorder, AVPD. In addition, I have issues with paranoia, some delusions induced by anxiety, and a severe problem with maladaptive daydreaming. So now for some less serious information about me. I enjoy metal, punk, and folk music most of all. I'm always open to music suggestions that fall outside of these genres, however, especially if it's cool experimental music. I like drawing and crafting. I may post some of my creations occasionally. I am interested in taxidermy and bone collecting. Wow. I also enjoy collecting rocks and mineral samples. I'm a pagan and an animist. Oh, I'm Mod Badger at Kin Experiences. Holy shit. This is like reading John Wayne Gacy's fucking journal from when he's 10. You know what's going to happen. You can't read this and not know what's going to happen. Hi, I'm completely insane and think I'm a badger. By the way, I'm really interested in collecting bones. What are you stepping in my van? Let's go for a drive. Holy fucking hell. So now that we know a little bit more about the person that wrote this, let's find out about otherkinity. Things that people need to realize about otherkinity. I don't know how to pronounce that. Things that people need to realize about otherkinity. Seriously, people both inside and outside the community need to get it through their heads that otherkin means to identify as non-human. Identifying with something non-human is being other-hearted. The two are not the same. A kin type is not a fursona. Someone can make their fursona after their kin type or realize there actually are kin to the creature chosen as their fursona, but the two are not equivalent by definition. Otherkinity is not exclusively a spiritual belief. Many otherkin identify as such for psychological reasons. Otherkinity is not a gender identity. We are not appropriating transgender struggles. Some otherkin are transgender. A fair amount are, in fact. Being one doesn't mean one cannot be the other. They are different types of identities. Stop erasing the gender identities of trans otherkin and stop using the existence of otherkin to invalidate trans people's identities. Your transphobia is disgusting and blatantly obvious. Some otherkin experience species dysphoria, which means they have a strong disconnect with their human body. Trans otherkin have found similarities between species dysphoria and their gender dysphoria if they have it, and so the two get discussed. They are not the same, but they can be comparable. Otherkin don't think it's cultural appropriation to wear wolf ears, or that it's oppression to have houseplants, or something ridiculous like that. Stop falling for obvious trolls. Otherkinity is not a mental illness by definition. Some may identify as such due to reasons derived from trauma or illness, but it isn't in and of itself a mental illness. In fact, a large majority of us whom are mentally ill, in addition to being otherkin, have confided our identity to mental health professionals who think it's a healthy identity to have. Stop yelling at us to get help. Your ableism is not appreciated by anyone. I'm sure there are other important things out there that should be added to the list, but this is all my brain is coming up with for the nonce. Well, I'm going to have to agree. I don't think wearing wolf ears is cultural appropriation. I'm fairly certain wolves aren't going to mind. But now we have a better picture of insanity. So going forward, we're going to have a better idea of what we're dealing with, because there are all sorts of kin types. You might have heard them discuss that, or therians. Now there's a difference between those two, but I can't be fucking bothered to learn it. I can only handle so much crazy in one sitting, and if you're looking for me to go into all of this, that's not going to happen. I'm just dealing with kin types. So what's a kin type? Well, you'll find that otherkin use kin as a suffix for pretty much anything. You can be a plant kin, you can be a dragon kin, you can be a fiction kin, you can be a kin if you wanted to be, which would be even more insane. I don't know if that exists yet, but by the end of this video, or by the time people watch it, I'm sure it's fucking going to exist. Welcome to Tumblr, where anything can be real, because fuck you, that's why. Now you may be saying, Jim, come on, there's got to be a limit. But you'd be wrong, as seen in the post by Paranoid Raindrops. Please like or reblog this if you are weatherkin, divinekin of any kind, demonkin, void spacekin. Just want to be friends with this lonely rain cloud. I have to start over from nothing, and I would very much enjoy the opportunity to follow you and have new people in my life. And then it's hashtagged otherkin, we are the kin, divinekin, demonkin, voidkin, spacekin, and raindropkin. That's right. There are people out there that are weatherkin. Apparently Doppler radar is such hot shit that people identify as it. I know that when I feel a rainstorm coming, I want to find a weatherman and have him hold me tenderly. So now that we have a better idea of just what an otherkin is, let's go out and meet the community. And what better place to start than here? Small deer boy explores the forest of his mind. Hashtag I'm actually a stag. Selfie. Agendered. Demi-boy. They, them, he, him. Deerkin, otherkin. Antlers. Reblog my selfie if you love me. Panromantic. Demisexual. So just what are we going to find at castlebeyondthegoblincity.tumblr.com? Well, the Goblin King. The years have not been kind to David Bowie. My name is Imber. I'm a 16-year-old nature-worshipping agendered demi-boy. I prefer neutral pronouns, but I'm also fine with male. Part-time gentle forest creature. Part-time ferocious beast. Polykin wolf deer dragon. Amateur cosplayer and aspiring furry. Hardcore feminist. Illinois. I draw, write, sing, act, and play the ukulele. Single. I take my not safe for work. I always pick hugs over drugs. And then there's the Instagram and Etsy accounts they use. So just to sum up, it's a 16-year-old nature-worshipping feminist demi-boy who's single right now. So any ladies out there, got you covered. So let's see what the Goblin King has to say. This is from April 4th, 2015. Some yuppie dude bro. Pop music has destroyed my hope for humanity. Me? Really? Not racism? Not sexism? Not the rampant discrimination of the human race by the cis-het male white hierarchy? Not war? Not genocide? Not the fact that we're killing our planet? Some yuppie dude bro? No, I don't give a shit about that. What really grinds my gears is seeing young girls listening to music and having fun. Well, I think we found a winner here. Let's delve a little deeper. Now, this next post is pretty long, but I think it gives you an idea of just who the Goblin King is. So let's find out a little bit more about our deerkin. Day 1. I cried so hard that it scared my father. He spent the night outside my bedroom door just to make sure I didn't stop breathing like a newborn in her crib the first week. Day 2. I went to work and I cried in the bathroom. Day 3. I believe I was cured. Now I think my mind was playing a cruel joke on me. Day 4. I told you I miss you, and you replied with, thank you. Day 5. I saw a picture of you on Instagram and it lit my throat on fire, so I burned your love letters over the flame. Day 6. I smoked weed with a boy on his back porch and he asked questions you were afraid to, but still, I couldn't kiss him on his couch. Day 7. I couldn't sleep because I kept dreaming of you kissing other girls on your couch. Day 8. I gave you all of your stuff back, and you thought I looked like a warrior, but really, I went home and cried an entire ocean into existence. Day 9. I laughed without you. Day 10. I kept finding excuses to text you, and you kept ignoring me. Day 11. I cried until my stomach heaved itself up, and I slept next to the toilet in case those nasty dreams came again. Day 12. Since when is heartbroken so goddamn romantic? There's nothing pretty about losing feelings in my knuckles after squeezing my hand so tight to keep from texting you. Day 13. I could never squeeze them tight enough. I could never imagine that you would be so good at letting me fade. Day 14. The doubt makes my spine feel less like vertebrae and more like giant icicles. You never loved me. Day 15. I found out you had replaced me, and it flicked at my bruises, but my ribs didn't break. Day 16. I told everyone about you, and they said you were stupid for leaving. But I think you were stupid for staying the first time you sliced my heart on the side of the road. Day 17. I didn't think about you for an entire night because I was drunk in bed with someone else. Day 18. What color are your eyes? How big are your hands? Where was that freckle on your face I used to look at while you slept? Day 19. Sometimes all I feel in my chest is my heart trying to break out of its cage. I think it's tired of everything I have put it through. Day 20. I'm sorry I couldn't ignore your birthday. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Day 21. This was a shitty poem about a shitty person, but I don't think of you so much anymore. I don't think of you so much anymore. Life is hard for a deer. Well, I cry every time. Well, I don't know about you, but I cry every time. Who knew that deers had such emotionally traumatic lives? Apparently Tumblr is the #1 website for fucking creatures in the forest. You know, Twitter's got to step up its game. All it's got are those birds. But if you've got 4 legs, if you're a quadruped, Tumblr is where it's at. That's where all the forest creatures go to tell you about their heartbreak and the sorrows of their lives. Like that one time the tree bark just didn't cut off right. Or how good that grass was yesterday. Or taking a shit next to that bush. Well, with all these struggles and hardships in life, like being a deer who happens to be a feminist, or a badger that wants to collect human bones, if there was only a place where Otherkin could go to release that emotional weight, and to just lay it all out there. Oh, well, hey, what do you know, there is! It's confessions.tumblr.com, a Tumblr blog set up to allow Otherkin to anonymously vent about their day-to-day frustration. So why don't we take a look at a few and get a better understanding of just the kind of traumas that the Otherkin deal with on a daily basis. Anonymous posts on the 4th of April. Even though everything I feel tells me I'm a bearkin, I don't want to be a bear. I don't particularly like bears. I just feel like I am one. Well, at least I know where to find the answer when somebody asks, does crazy shit in the woods? Anonymous posts on the 2nd of April. I'm slightly irritated at fictionkin in general. I don't hate anyone. I don't have the desire to tell people how to identify. It just seems like fictionkin are a bit less legit than someone who is a cat, dog, or dragonkin. Sorry, I need to reread that because my mind melted a little bit. It just seems like fictionkin are a bit less legit than someone who is a cat, dog, or dragonkin. I just don't get it. How do you live your life as a character that isn't real, or could die in the series? I think it's just an infatuation with the series rather than an actual identity. Come on. Come on. If irony had a physical weight to it, you could package this post up into a bag and bludgeon people to death with it. It's almost like watching somebody who's on the cusp of self-awareness, but they haven't made that final step over the line just yet. Anonymous posts on the 1st of April. I'm Dragonkin, and I get to travel a lot for work, but I hate flying in airplanes so much. Being forced to sit straight up while enclosed in a tiny plane and not being able to stretch my wings out and fly myself makes me feel so sick and dizzy each flight. I wonder how many Dragonkin are base jumpers. Probably not a lot. Or probably not a lot that ever make it to the second jump. The ripcord's there for a reason, champ. Those wings aren't going to glide your ass to the ground just as safely as you might think they are. Just saying, pack a parachute, asshole. Anonymous posts on the 30th of March. I think identifying as a factkin is extremely disrespectful. Being factkin of a dead person does not make it better. You are disrespecting real people and disrespecting the memory of those past. It's ableist to claim you are someone else, as they would definitely trigger disassociative episodes, and racist to ID as factkin of someone of another race than you. Sincerely, it is disrespectful all around. You see, there's a line you don't cross. If you want to be a deer, go right ahead, but don't you dare say you're Benjamin Franklin. That's a step too far. Anonymous posts on the 27th of March. I'm Demonkin, but a peaceful and helpful demon, so I don't get along with some of the other Demonkin on Tumblr, which sucks. I'm really lonely. Plus, it's kind of scary because they tell me I should try and hang around Angelkin instead, most of which I'm anxious of. Old habits die hard. I just wish there were more demons like me. So even in the land of special snowflakes, this particular Demon King is a special snowflake. You'd think the fires of hell would melt him, but no, apparently not. He's just a nice guy all around. I wasn't spitting pea soup at the priest because I wanted to spook him. I just was trying to give him a pleasant meal. I was thinking of his health. He needs to eat healthier. Anonymous posts on the 26th of March. I'm a deer Therian, and I really wish I could find a herd. It's called hunting. Good luck. Anonymous posts on the 25th of March. As a deerkin, it's very pleasing to hang out deep in the woods where everything is quiet, especially eating berries and reading a book maybe. I get very depressed in the winter because it's too cold for me to do this. You poor bastard. Unable to eat berries and read books like every other deer out there. I feel your pain. Anonymous posts on the 17th of March. I'm a dollkin, feeling astral horns, and I don't know why. Perhaps it's because you're fucking crazy. Look into that. I don't know. It's a little tip from me. Maybe you're just completely insane. Anonymous posts on the 14th of March. I'm birdkin. When I was little, I always ran with closed eyes and spread my arms out. Tried to jump as far and as high as I could, and imagined I would fly. I still do it when no one is watching. It feels so natural not to feel the ground beneath me. That is until the moment my face connects with the fucking pavement, and I get sent to the hospital with a concussion. Yeah, I bet you do it when no one's watching. 'Cause you look insane. What the fuck are you talking about? You're right. Jesus. There are people like this. Anonymous posts on the 8th of March. I'm Monsterkin, and sometimes I make small growling noises, and I feel special when my friends call it cute. God, it's almost like... Yeah, hear me out on this. I know it's crazy. It's almost like you're doing this for attention. That's weird, huh? Like maybe you're not really a monsterkin and you just want people to pay attention to you? I know I'm probably way off. You keep doing what you're doing, hiding under beds and grabbing little kids' feet when they pop out to go take a pee in the middle of the night, or whatever the fuck it is you do. Anonymous posts on the 27th of February. When I walk past the raw meat aisle in stores, I get hungry. The meat just looks so tasty and chewy, and I drool imagining the taste and texture in my mouth. I can't tell if I'm demonkin or wolfkin or something like that. All I know is that I want to eat raw meat. Can you picture this? A, let's say, 20-year-old morbidly obese man in a wolf costume, drooling at the mouth as he stares at ground beef in the meat aisle of his store. His children run screaming because he's furiously masturbating, because that's what wolves do. Don't argue with me on this. I know about this. I've read enough Tumblr to know this. They behead dogs, and they masturbate in the meat aisle at stores. It's just part of what wolves naturally do. Stop being ableist, you fucking shitlords. Don't judge them. They're special. You need to respect that. You know, there was a time, and it wasn't that long ago, and for some circles it still exists, where furries were the worst thing on the internet. It seemed like every week you had another story of another Tumbles the Stair Dragon. And for anybody who doesn't know who Tumbles is, feel free to go check out the Dramatica article. It's fucking eye-opening. But every week, it seemed like there was something like that. They were obnoxious. They were everywhere. They were constantly pushing their dumb shit everywhere. Their art was everywhere. And the people that were in the community were seen to be freaks. But something happened over the last 7 or 8 years. Now don't get me wrong, they're still freaks. But they're freaks with a better image. Now, part of that is because of people like, I don't know, Uncle Kage.
I have often said that we are our own worst enemy. Because of the early days of furry fandom, the image that was put forth to the world at large was not perhaps the most positive image that could have existed. I've been trying to fight that ever since.
And what he says is right. They are their own worst enemy. You've got to take back control and rein it in a little bit. Now, is that possible with Otherkin? Can Otherkin rein it back in? Because when you go through Tumblr, when you're looking at this, it is insanity. Pure insanity. You have people that believe that they are everything that could possibly exist. They are dead people, they are living people, they are fictional characters, they are dragons and lizards, they're wolves, they're plants, they're fairies and fae, they're demons and gods. They are convinced of it. You throw in a little sprinkling of mental illness and it really takes off. It's like the headmates thing, where you're facilitating, you're helping along crazy people to be even crazier by letting them buy into this bullshit, by not having a division, a line that says, hey, it's play pretend. We're not being real here. It's hard to look through this and to go through the tags, and there are so many Tumblrs about Otherkins out there. And by the way, I saw this one. Please, God, please make this a thing. Because this is so dumb on its own that it just deserves to exist. I was really disappointed that there weren't more of these, because that would have been the whole fucking video. If I could have got this, this should be a fucking thing. But when you break it down to its brass tacks, what are you looking at? Well, you saw in those confessions, right, these anonymous posters, almost all of them repeat the same thing. And if you go and look at that Tumblr, you're going to see what I'm talking about. It's people that want attention. They want to feel special. This has become a badge of honor in our current society. The more diverse, the more unique you are, the more worth you have. You can't just be average or ordinary or mundane. You can't just be a human being. You have to be a demigod, a deerkin. You have to be the system mate of a fucking head star and all this other crazy bullshit, because then you can tack it up on your little Tumblr blog and more people will pay attention. And it's not even enough anymore that there are all these bizarre things, that these Otherkins are all these different forms of nutty. They have to fight amongst themselves. Who's more unique? Go look at that confession page. It's mind-boggling how many of them will say, I'm just the same as this other person, but I'm a little bit different, and oh, woe is me, how lonely I am. Will you come and look at my blog? And cry me a fucking river. What the hell happened to the internet? I mean, in my mind, after going through this, there's a sharp line between furry and Otherkin. Furries are fun to laugh at, but I don't think they're crazy. Otherkin is a completely different thing. It's attention whoring at a level that just is, it's mind-blowing. It's boggling, really, when you look at it. So really, at the end of the day, it looks like the Otherkin community is broken down into a couple of different groups. You've got one group that are people that are desperate for attention, and they will make themselves unique in any way they can to get that attention. It's just a way of drawing people to them. The other group are legitimately crazy people that have been drug along for the ride by these attention-whoring assholes.
Vi lever tillsammans. Vi sitter i soffan och ibland gosar jag på henne och ibland så brottas vi. Det är oftast mest vanliga tråkiga vardagsgrejer.